Happy New Year. Let's try something new this first quarter. Most times I do this fundamental analysis back end, but this time I want to infuse it in the YouTube videos I upload for the public. Okay. The major fundamental that I think can influence today's price action. However, for commodity-based currencies like Canadian dollar, and Australian dollar and the New Zealand dollar is this OPEC joint monitoring ministerial committee. I think that should be the word. Joint ministerial monitoring committee. Okay. And OPEC, for those people who study petroleum and gas or affiliated with oil and gas operations, you will know that it's the organization in charge of ensuring that the price of oil is one, not on the surplus end and not on the shortage end. Okay, so that the supply will not be higher to cause fall in price for those who are producing and those working for those producing, and there won't be shortage in order so that the price will not be too high. Okay, so everything has a cause and effect. Okay, so this is the major news that could influence price today, but not really for those that are not trading anything that has to do with oil and gas. You can forget about it. This will have influenced oil very well. Okay, so okay, let's go straight to the point. As we discuss the technicals, since there is no major fundamental that will influence price, there's nothing much to say about it today. So let's look at the charts for pound yen. For pound yen, I'm heavily bearish and the price has been printing some beautiful sales. Okay, it has been printing some beautiful sales. Let's look at this very well. Like I told you, on the weekly, we have hit the support level. Okay, where some persons now would already have been loading their buy orders. Okay, their buy orders here because of what? This support 1 and support 2. Equal support is just like saying double bottom, and they were expecting what? This W formation. Okay, so this is just what most persons will be looking at. But since if you've been following me for a very long time, you know I don't trade with patterns per se. Okay, I don't trade with patterns. I try to understand, gauge the market. Okay, so that if you're trading, you trade with some level of confidence because you tend to understand the behavior of the market. Okay, this is the cyclic pattern I talked about some months back. Okay, which is cause effect. Okay, and most times cause and effect tends to go side by side. But one thing I've noticed is that the effect, which has to be on the bearish side, tends to drop faster than the cause, which is on the bullish side. Okay, if you look at it, the time it took from here to the top here, and the time it took from this low, let's say this equal high, to the bottom here, is relatively faster. Another way you can look at it is that the strength of the bulls in this drop is showing significant weakness from the bullish guys or the buyers compared to the strength of the sellers as price was going up. Okay, look at the bulls. We are showing significant weakness compared to the bears. Though the bulls here were stronger. Let me try to put this simply in a very simple way. It takes shorter time dropping than it takes going up. In other words, it is easier to destroy than to build. Okay, now let's look at the charts per se. If you look at the 4 hours, we're in sellers territory, weekly sellers territory, 1 hour sellers territory. There are some positions that are already running. Okay, this one has hit TP. This one is pending because from here to here is where I'm expecting price to react from. Price should react either from point A or from point B. Point B is the overall TP. Okay, now if you look at it very well, two things I could do because I've gotten a better understanding of what the market tends to do is to keep the TP here, okay? And let, if there's going to be any runner, the runner would be the one that would come down to this point. This is what I'm trying to say. Please pay attention. This is what I'm trying to say. For those who are watching it live, this is what I mean. I'm going to take some things here, okay, and leave a portion of it to come down here. That is if it's going to continue dropping, because there is, on the weekly and on the monthly, there is strong demand here, okay, which is a support. But on the daily, this is where the support is, okay. But since this trade is from a weekly time frame, not from a daily time frame, okay, since it's from a weekly time frame, this would appear as a stronger support than this, okay. If the weekly time frame support was here, then it would have pierced through the daily time frame on. But since it's on the weekly support and we are trading on a weekly time frame, but we came down to the 1 hour to get precision entry, PE, precision entry, okay? Precision entry is what you would hear, like in ICT, we call it fair value. Okay, you want to drop lower to get fair value in order to, you grab it at that fair value and run along with it, because if you want to enter at the weekly, your stop loss will be very wide. If you're entering on the 1 hour 30, your stop loss will be tight and you would have a relatively good risk to reward. Okay, ICT, smart money concept, smart Raja concept, all the smart concepts try to ensure that your risk and your reward is relatively favorable to the trader, in the sense whereby the minimum a trader should be looking at is 1:1, which 1% will be the risk and you're looking at any 1% as a reward. However, most traders have learned to squeeze the juice to the point where they could get as high as 1:10. Okay, but the point is, do what suits you. At this point in time, what suits me has been working, which is dropping to the lower time frame, get the fair value, okay, fair market value, and if it tends to form what I call chart eclipse. What is chart eclipse? These are some terms that are not conversant in the public domain, but chart eclipse is simply where you're looking at sales on the daily time frame. On the 1 hour time frame, you're waiting for price to fall into the seller's territory, so that once you're entering though on the 1 hour time frame, however, your TP is looking at the daily time frame. Okay, your sales was entered on the 1 hour time frame, but your TP will be on the daily time frame. So this is what I call chart eclipse, okay, where one superimposes or overlays on the other one. Okay, so this is for British pound, Japanese yen. I'm strongly bearish. Okay, and one thing I've noticed is that for seasonal tendencies during Yuletide or festive periods like Christmas, the pound tends to drop in value against the yen. Okay, but not like it's every time. So I try to apply the 48th law on the book called the 48 laws of power, which is be like water. Okay, be without form, be formless, meaning don't say because every pips collector said every Christmas period pound will drop, so as soon as it reaches November I should hit my sell and forget. Don't forget that you're playing with also people who are smart. They tend to make you think that that is what is occurring regularly, and one time they're going to hit against the presumed, or like put it, the assumed trend that market is supposed to go. Like if you remember the 2008 crash, everyone did not see it coming, except for I think Michael Burry and forgotten this other man's name who is the owner of Scion Capital, who saw this crash in the real estate business and you saw what happened afterwards. The same thing is applying to Bitcoin. If you're following the trend based on seasonal tendencies, ignoring the fundamentals, ignoring the technicals, ignoring human psychology, ignoring sentiment in the market, there are a lot of things that every trader has to infuse in his or her strategy. With that being said, This is what I am looking at, sells on pound yen. Okay, the sell is still playing. Like I told you, this is my overall TP on pound yen. This 154.710 price level. Okay, which is this level of, I'm going to sell £1 for 154.710 yen. Okay, looking at it like that. The next thing on my chart now, common sense will let you know that if pound yen is showing that particular price, this thing, what will gold be doing? Because gold is a commodity based currency, or it's a commodity, or an, how would I put it? Let me not say currency, because some persons will argue that gold is not a currency. But what do we say about currency? Currency always goes, it goes in pairs. Okay, currency goes in pairs, but you can look at it two ways. Okay, you can look at gold in terms of currency when you're looking at it technically, because SAU slash USD. You can also look at it as a commodity when you're looking at it from the fundamental knowledge. Everyone knows that gold is a commodity. Now, what this means is that during the Yuletide period or Christmas period or New Year, people tend to exchange or buy gold, buy all the silver, buy commodities. That implies that the price of commodity will appreciate during the what festive period as against the price of the dollar or the risk-based currencies. If you check very well, the commodity-based currencies are supposed to perform very well during festive periods because everyone has saved and they are willing to put the money back into the system. Okay, so gold was performing very well. Now, if gold is going up and the dollar is weak, that means that for Bitcoin, Bitcoin should be appreciating against the dollar. Okay, but that does not mean that gold and Bitcoin must correlate positively all the time. Sometimes they go opposite direction, which is the anti-correlation. So for gold, what I'm looking at is if we get a bullish breach above here, we'll anticipate more buys. But at the moment, I'm looking at deeper retracement before we continue our bullish momentum. But if price breaches here, negative as in bearishly breaches this support, we're anticipating some dip, as in further dip, but that does not mean that the dip will keep dropping because we are strongly bullish on the weekly, on the daily, on the 4 hours, and it's only on the 1 hour that we are showing strength from the seller's sentiment or seller side. Okay, so for gold, I'm strongly what bullish. Okay, the last but not the least is Bitcoin. Bitcoin, like I said, Bitcoin will be looking at the price dropping. Though, why is it that I'm looking at gold buys and Bitcoin sells? First of all, you just go through the videos in this catalog on the YouTube and you discover that there was a first forecast that was done months ago, last year in fact, that forecasted that the price of Bitcoin should be dropping to $14,000. I think the price was around here, 31, let's say $32,000. The price was around $32,000. This level, it was forecasted that the price should drop at least to $14,000. We're approaching that level. Now, why am I looking at Bitcoin to drop further instead of to appreciate? Very simple, very, very simple. Because one, using technicals, first of all, we're in seller's territory, which is clearly visible. Clearly visible. This domain is what? Bearish market. You see how the bulls weakness from the bulls, although we are also noticing weakness from the bears. So we are held in what is referred to as a ranging market at the moment because the buyers are not very strong. The sellers are also not interested in pushing the price down at the moment. But that does not mean that we just want to take buy because we are strongly, heavily what? Bearish. For safe buys will occur if market shows us, let's say, something of this nature. Safe, let's say you get something like this, market comes up, retraces. In fact, let me say safe buys will occur above this demand, this supply zone here. From here to here, safe buys will occur above this supply zone. Okay, because if price reaches this level, we've just tapped into the base of the supply zone, which will indicate that price could what react in favor of the sellers. But if it reacts against the sellers and it bullishly breaches this resistance here, we'll be anticipating what further bullish momentum. Okay, if most of this is advanced to you, please watch it again. If you have any question, type in the comment section. I'm very looking forward to hearing your response and give you my own professional suggestion, but not a financial advice. Okay, do well to subscribe, hit that notification button or bell. Okay, comment. The last but not the least, like. Don't forget, this is Pips Collector, Baraka Bashad. Happy New Year. Bye for now.